Good afternoon and welcome to today's Hub in a Hybrid World webinar, where we're going to focus on the sector of the public sector. Thanks for joining us early. I see there's quite a few of you joined already. Wonderful. Well done. Just time to grab a drink and we'll see you in about 60 seconds. For those of you who've just joined us, thanks very much for joining today on the final webinar on Hub and Hybrid World. Today we're looking at public sector. We are just waiting for a few more people to join, probably about another 30 seconds, and then we will begin. Once again, thanks for joining. Hello, good afternoon and welcome to today's Hub in a Hybrid World webinar, where we're going to focus our attention to Hub in the public sector and those public sector organisations who use Hub and who should be using Hub. So we are going to kick off straight away with just a teaser, a bit of a taster of some of the scenarios that perhaps we've all seen in public sector life, and then I'll come back and introduce who's going to be joining me on today's webinar. I'm just going to stop that there because I realised my error of not including the sound into the screen share there. So I didn't want you to miss out on any great content. So let's try that one more time.
Public organisations keep us all moving, but social restrictions mean that technology is replacing face-to-face interactions to facilitate communication, which is why many healthcare practitioners and hospitals are deploying Microsoft Surface Hub 2S. The majority of healthcare professionals believe face-to-face interaction is the most important element for patient engagement, delivering better shared decision-making. The 4K resolution on the inbuilt camera and the display on the Surface Hub 2S ensures a better exchange of information, as both parties are able to interpret body language and facial expressions alongside natural audio exchange. Remote teams can collaborate on Surface Hub 2S using data from a source device and back to the document, using the touchback and inkback facility, ensuring everyone is working from the most up-to-date files. Once the session has ended, meeting notes and content can be shared instantly, whilst all data is wiped from the Surface Hub 2S and ready for the next meeting. Ensuring data security is a top priority. Surface Hub 2S provides a walk-up and use experience, running Windows 10 Team operating system whilst being protected against continually evolving security threats. All these challenges are equally relevant, whether a doctor's office, courthouse or government organisation, and has turned remote collaboration from a nice-to-have add-on into a core component of service delivery in a way that couldn't have been envisaged even at the start of 2020. Real world, real interaction. Surface Hub 2S bridges the digital and physical divide in today's hybrid workplaces, further enhanced by the global availability of Microsoft Surface Hub 2S 85-inch in 2021.
You're on mute, Jane.
I'm on mute, yay! Okay, thank you, Yazine. So tonight is no different. Today's no different to any other day when I talk. I'm not on mute. So for those of you who are good at lip reading, tonight is your lucky night, and I will say some very profound things, no doubt, or not, as the case may be. So welcome once again, Hub in a Hybrid World. We're focusing today on the public sector, and we've got a lot of things to talk to you about tonight, but one thing I really want to establish is I don't want this to be a webinar where we just talk at you and you're meant to sit there and listen. Please make it as interactive as possible. We've got a Q&A facility where you can put in anything you want to ask us, and we'll do our best to share our knowledge with you, or even if it's just to say hi. We'd love to hear from you, so we know that there is people out there. I'm going to hand you over now to Laura, who's going to tell you a little bit more and just give you an introduction of what we're doing here today.
Awesome. Thank you. So hello, everyone. My name is Laura. I am the Surface Portfolio Product Marketing Manager with Microsoft Canada. So thank you for joining us for the final webinar, which is highlighting Hub in today's hybrid world. So if you did miss any of the previous ones, we'll be sure to communicate all those in the links via email after the session. So today we'll be discussing the improved efficiencies within public sector, probably one of the most important sectors to keeping cultures moving and functioning. It's a wide and a varied range of more specific activities such as government, public health, emergency services, justice, military, transport, just to name a few. And so large organizations such as some of maybe even the large hospital networks in Canada, some of the major school boards that we have, local and federal governments, they're all dominating this sector. But it's also important to know that there is a diverse range of smaller services, and all of these need to respond to challenges of the hybrid world. And so before we dive into Hub and public sector specifically, I'd love to share some of the usage patterns that we're seeing with Microsoft Teams for some context just to how communication has changed so much during this pandemic. And so our data shows that even 6 months past the first work from home orders, people were in significantly more meetings, taking more ad hoc calls, managing more incoming chats than they ever did before the pandemic. I'm sure we can all relate to this, and I'm sure you'll note that this is continuing today. You know, after hours chats or chats between 5 p.m. and midnight, they've also increased. Perhaps more interestingly, we found that the share of Teams users that are sending these chats after hours has more than doubled. So this really means that there's a whole group of people out there who have never touched a keyboard after 5 p.m. before the pandemic, and now they do. So I think these stats really do speak for themselves. And in some cases, the move to more remote work is also making work more inclusive, which is incredible. You know, over half, so about 52% of people that we surveyed globally, they feel more valued or included as a remote contributor in meetings, because now everyone's in that same virtual room. We've also seen that in-meeting chat has become a channel for more people to share their perspectives. Specifically, chat messages within Teams meetings, they've increased over 10 times between March 1st and June 1st of 2020. And so before I pass it back to Jane and we get more into some of those really interesting bits of information, I do want to call out our 3 amazing Surface authorized distributors in Canada. So we have Ingram, Synix, and Tech Data. I'll also mention, as you know, that we have Surface and Hub specialists at our distributors. So as always, first point of contact is your account manager, and they'll connect you with the right people. As well, a reminder that Microsoft always strives to support our partners with the information and collateral to help, best engage you with your customers. And so focusing on Hub, and today we're going to be highlighting Hub 2S in the public sector alongside with Collab Tech, and they bring so many unique perspectives and firsthand knowledge within the product and the industry. We'll be sharing some of these stories from successful deployments from all around the world. In addition to this session, there is more information to help you build opportunity. Hopefully you've seen it, the recently published Surface Hub ebook and the supporting infographic. So both of these will be shared with you after the webinar. And so with that, I hope you all enjoy today's content, take the time to learn, to engage, ask questions, and I will pass it back to Jane to please tell us what's next.
You're on mute, Jane.
I know, I just realised that myself. Yay, at least I'm getting better. Yazine, you were brilliant. Thank you very much for telling me on mute. Laura, that was brilliant. Thank you for that introduction. And I echo your sentiment. I think public sector is one of the sectors, the industries really that have taken Hub to its heart already, which is fantastic, and working with them to promote the usage of collaboration and certainly technology such as Surface Hub is absolutely vital with everything that we do now. So I'm just going to follow on from what you were saying here. So let's just pick up on public sector as a whole organisation. As you quite rightly say, it's not one big amorphous mass. It is made up of lots of enterprises and companies, not always large. There's lots of little ones, and this is shown really in this stat, that 79% stat there of public sector innovations happen when multiple organisations collaborate together. And that is truly an amazing statistic that we definitely should use when we're talking to any public sector organisation. Now, Laura mentioned them, but that could be an electrical company, an education, oil and gas, mining, healthcare. There's so many companies that fit into that public sector organisations. But remember that 79%, which is amazing, because this is where the innovation actually is going to happen. And to make that change, let's look at Canada. Just really focus in on your government areas, your employment. And there was a couple of stats that I found truly amazing. We're in the middle of probably one of the worst economic climates at the moment, with job losses all over the place, with people having to reinvent really what they do. And I found this stat quite incredible. If we look at how bad some of the industries are facing the crisis, obviously we know hospitality, we know the tourism industry is hugely affected. But if we look on the plus side, so which organisations have actually increased their workforce, we can see that public administration, finance, insurance, real estate, utilities, educational services, they're actually in the middle of this pandemic increasing their workforce. And again, on the right hand side, you can see there, though it's quite an old stat, 3.6 million, and this was back in 2013, 3.6 million Canadians were now employed in the public sector. So a lot of collaboration to be done, and therefore there's this real growing need for partners like yourselves to take a view of working with these government organisations to establish the right digital workflow to ensure that their collaboration and their work is super productive and effective. So how is that going to be done? So again, doing some research into this sector, I was really interested to find there's this new wave of technology, and it's changing the way that our countries, and by that I mean our local government organisation and our national governments, as well as those supporting agencies that kind of satellites around the outside, how they're collecting our taxes, how they're delivering our services. There's a huge rise in this new technology called GovTech. Now, for those of you who are on the financial services webinar, you'll hear us talk about FinTech. So the financial technology, which is driving change within the financial sector. We've got this now new technology called GovTech, which is again driving change, which is into what is normally quite a change resistant kind of area. It's driving that change. So governments are starting to change the way that they communicate through these new technologies, and they're driving change with applications that are mission critical and specifically designed for government purposes. And then again, I love my stats, but that whole 51% positive gains for using intelligent technology. We're all citizens of our own governments, and we all have, I think, rising expectations of how they should be communicating with us. We're so used to maybe getting an Uber on our phone, or even getting food delivered through our phone, then why should that correspondence with our governments be any different? And then the 75% of governments, they want to ensure that they're communicating and helping the citizens, are actually helping them to make those really crucial community decisions. So that rise of GovTech, and look at that, 400 billion worldwide spending on GovTech alone, and that's in this year. And there's a Europe stat there which I thought was quite incredible, really. A small place like Europe, 25 billion spent on GovTech. So you can see that there is a real focus on getting this right. You probably know this already, so I don't want to teach you things that you already know, but for me, those were really good reminders. First one, start with the problem, not the technology. I mean, I call myself a technologist because I just love technology. I just love what it can do. I love how it can, certainly Surface Hub, how somebody without any prior knowledge can walk up and use a group device and have a great experience and really drive a collaborative environment. But what this is telling us and reminding us is, don't start with that sort of feature benefits, tech spec. Start with the problem and how we can help the organisation solve it. Second one, which I thought was quite enlightening, which is find those change agents within your customer, those stakeholders that are as really engaged and activated in getting this solution right, and they will help you solve those challenges that you have along the way, those hurdles that you have to actually get in a full deployment. So it really is crucial to identify who these people are and work really closely with them so they can help you champion this proposition. And then the one that number 3, we talk about this all the time, and this security and privacy. Again, we talked about it a lot in financial services, but actually all of the webinars where security is uber important. So having hubs sit in that Teams infrastructure, the 365 environment, means that security is is taken care of in that environment. And then finally, number 4, don't make it overcomplicated. Solve the problem that the customer has, and then we can talk about other things that the hub solution can do. I think sometimes, again, I'm the world's worst. I want to show people everything that the hub can do, and maybe it can be overwhelming, but focus on the particular challenge that they have and then scale out from there. So just thought it was a really good aid memoir, and that was from a white paper that was written by Accenture around GovTech. It's a fairly recent one as well. I can share that one with you after the event. So finally, I want to bring your attention to a couple of case studies. They're actually on the Microsoft website. The first one here is a local government in France of Issy-les-Moulineaux. It's a fairly good-sized city. But what it's done is it had a challenge, and the challenge was they had agents working out at the edge in the community, and they were always on the move, but they needed to collaborate back into the local government offices. And they needed to improve that communication, that productivity. So they had hubs centrally, and they had Surface devices at the edge, and therefore that improved that communication collaboration and it enabled actually a better way of working. They're able to brainstorm and video conference instantly. And then the second one, again, these are on the Microsoft website I'd like to share with you, is a case study that involves the Department of Tourism from Abu Dhabi. And this is, it's a very recent one. Abu Dhabi, the businesses are just beginning to open again now after COVID, and employees are returning to the office. So Surface Hub's been deployed into the offices, and again, Surface devices out for teams to collaborate whilst they're working from home. So they needed to manage crisis effectively and respond to the needs of the citizens and tourists and local businesses alike. So Surface Hub 2S then again allows that collaboration improves communication. And this is a great quote, and I'll quote you from this. It enables staff to get their creative juices flowing. And they've actually replaced whiteboards and projectors to provide a natural way of working. And I think that's so key. It provides a natural way of working, and how often can we say that? So I think that the final thing from me on this is that quote. We've removed the compromise from collaboration, and how amazing to remove the compromise from collaboration. So actually, no longer are we going to say, you know, collaboration's an afterthought, or you know, we collaborate when we get together, or it's a water cooler moment. No, they're actually saying we've removed all the compromise. This is how it's going to work, and this is, you know, it's going to be used in Surface Hub, and this is how we're going to collaborate. So I just thought I'd end on that quote because I think it is a good one to remember. But let's now, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Yassine, who's going to take us through some actual scenarios that we've encountered as CollabTech.
Hello and welcome to Hub in a Hybrid World. My name is Yassine Hayo. I'm a collaboration specialist at CollabTech, and we help people work better together. And welcome to this webinar, which will take a particular focus at public sector. The public sector is one of the largest and most important sectors that keep our society running. It consists of healthcare, transport, government, to name a few, and they are essentially staples within our society. COVID-19 has also impacted them, just as it has the rest of the world. And we've looked at some of the challenges that they have faced and how they've overcome those challenges. Ourselves at CollabTech operate through the channel. This means that we've had the unique opportunity of being able to rub shoulders and see, hear and experience success stories of how Surface Hub is being used. What we have done is collated those into a short webinar to help you understand how people in public sector are utilizing Hub to overcome the challenges that COVID-19 has posed. And in turn, this will allow you to then speak to your customers in public sector of how to do that. We are currently experiencing the world's largest work experiment. Many of us are relearning how to work. And this is exactly where Surface Hub comes into it. The Surface Hub acts as a central all-in-one platform for your collaboration needs. This means that you have everything available that you need for your regular workday at your fingertips. Having all of your files in OneDrive available in one place, as well as the ability to allow you to continue in your digital stride easily and seamlessly. There are three staples of the Surface Hub that I'd like to go into to begin with. The Surface Hub is about dissolving boundaries, it's about creating a digital workflow, and it's about mobility. It's about dissolving boundaries between the physical and the virtual world, allowing analog and digital content to interact together seamlessly and easily, allowing individuals to actually bring in digital content to the whiteboard, such as Word documents and PowerPoint files, and annotating on those using the Surface Hub's pen. It's about the digital workflow the Surface Hub enables, allowing individuals to continuously work, having all of the tools they need at their disposal. This also includes allowing cross-platform compatibility, allowing you to use the Windows 10 device in conjunction with the Surface Hub easily and seamlessly using the Miracast ability, for example. It also includes things like the ability for you to access your OneDrive using the single sign-on, the ability for you to use the interactive whiteboard, and many more features that we're going to go into in detail when we touch on the examples. And the last thing the Surface Hub is about that I would like you to remember is the mobility. We've talked a little bit about the virtual mobility it provides, but there's also physical mobility. The Surface Hub has a steel case stand and an APC battery as optional extras. They provide you the ability to actually move the Surface Hub around without losing power or connectivity. And we've seen many ways in which this has been used in the field. Let's take a look at some real world examples of how Surface Hub is being used in public sector. First example we have is of large town hall meetings. Now the picture on the bottom is one that would have been completely typical not even a year and a half ago. However, in today's world, this is something that's becoming increasingly rare. People are no longer meeting in large capacities anymore. In some places, this is extremely important. You need to have people meeting either face-to-face or virtually in order for them to discuss exactly what's going on in their town or city. One innovative customer of ours used the Surface Hub to conduct those town hall meetings and did so in a way that minimized the damage of not being able to meet physically. You see, what they did was they actually utilized the 84-inch Surface Hub, which can be seen on the left here compared to the 50-inch. The one in the picture is the Surface Hub 2S, which is actually out now. There was an 85-inch version, but the predecessor of the Surface Hub 2, the Surface Hub 1, had an 84-inch, which this local council actually used. The widescreen display of the 84-inch Surface Hub means that there is an ability for everybody in the room to see what's going on the screen. This gives the individuals that we're speaking about the ability to socially distance whilst also being present in the meeting. The crisp audio-visual experience provided by the Surface Hub means that individuals, even at the far back end of the room, are able to see what's going on the 84-inch display. The HD camera means that the participants in the town hall are still able to be seen very, very clearly, and the 90-degree field of vision on the Surface Hub 2S camera means that individuals in the corners of the room are even able to be seen as well. It has an excellent microphone array on the back of the Surface Hub that allows individuals that are even quite far from the Surface Hub to be picked up equally well as those close to the hub. Now, the fact that the Surface Hub was able to act as a central meeting point experience for the individuals in the town hall meant that the individuals who can't attend the meeting or who'd have to join from home are able to do so using the Surface Hub and still able to be seen by the other participants. The ability for you to use the whiteboard on the Surface Hub as well as the screen sharing means that the presenter is actually able to annotate and explain his ideas to both the individuals at home and those physically present. The interactiveness of the whiteboard also means that participants at home are also able to annotate directly onto the same whiteboard, collaborating in real time. This means that they are able to get involved and contribute and share ideas easily and seamlessly using the Surface Hub. The second example is that of the healthcare industry. As many of us know, the healthcare industry is being overloaded at the moment. However, that's also opened the door for some innovation. Many individuals that we work with in the healthcare industry are using the Surface Hub in creative and interesting ways to overcome challenges and difficulties. One way in which we've seen that is multidisciplinary meetings across departments and across different healthcare providers, if you will, who have to collate and share information for the benefit of everyone. In this case, what they did was utilize the Microsoft Surface Hub to initiate a Teams call with all of the individuals present. Once they did that, the interactive whiteboard, of course, allows them to import content onto the whiteboard and directly speak and annotate about this content. This was used in conjunction with scans and graphs and pictures, x-rays, for example, on a personal device. Doctors who were doing that would use Miracast to project their device onto the Surface Hub, and then they would import the images on their Miracast device onto the Surface Hub whiteboard by simply taking a screen clipping. This then allowed them to paste the image they needed directly onto the whiteboard like so, and bring it as part of the digital conversation, allowing them to annotate and diagnose what's going on with the patient, in this case an x-ray image of an eye. They're able to talk about the different problems that they may have come across and issues where they've seen and resolutions that they may have found beneficial. The adaptability of the Surface Hub and the way it allows individuals to continue in their digital workflow means that doctors could, as soon as they have a resolution to their answer, easily bring in patients to their Microsoft Teams call as well. This allows them to easily and quickly bring in patients as part of the conversation and convey the information that they need to do so. In addition to this, the virtual mobility of the Surface Hub allows them to email out any content that they're using at the click of a button, importing and exporting whiteboards as PNG images and sending them via email to all participants on the Microsoft Teams call. So what we've done here is save time and money by allowing all of the participants and individuals that need to be on a call the ability to do so from the comfort of their homes. This has made physical proximity much less of an issue, and virtual distance has essentially been closed to peers and individuals as well as patients all around the healthcare sector. The compatibility with Microsoft Teams means that individuals on their own devices, and provided they have the necessary administrative rights, are also able to record meetings as well. This means that people who may not be able to attend, or people maybe even in different time zones, are also able to view the content easily and seamlessly. Now, patient confidentiality is, of course, an important thing for many people in healthcare. The security aspect of the Surface Hub means that as soon as you end the session, you can simply walk away from the Surface Hub and not have to worry about where your data is going, as the Surface Hub will be completely wiped, ready for the next person to use. Our final example is that Windows 10 Professional on Surface Hub being used by a courtroom judge as a central control center. With Windows 10 Professional, the functionality of a personal device is activated by the Surface Hub, allowing users to sign into their own personal user accounts. The fingerprint reader adds an added layer of security and speed to the authentication process. The beautiful 4K display of the hub, as well as the crystal clear audio, allowed this judge to have a high quality meeting experience. The hub itself became a central point of communication and collaboration using Windows 10 Professional. He was able to annotate documentation, make his own personal notes, and create breakout room sessions in Microsoft Teams easily and simply. The Surface Hub has essentially provided a complete meeting room in a box experience, allowing this judge to reduce social distancing related disruptions as much as possible. So to summarize, the Surface Hub is about dissolving boundaries between the physical and the virtual world. It's about allowing public sector workers to easily interact with digital content in an analog way. It's about continuing in your digital stride, allowing you to utilize things like Miracast and Microsoft Teams so that you can focus on doing your job in these difficult times. And it's about the mobility the Surface Hub provides you. The fact that you can wheel it around on a steel case stand as well as the APC battery, meaning you won't even lose power or connectivity. All of these things are invaluable, and public sector workers, who are essentially the backbone and the spine of our society, could most certainly make use of those to streamline their operations and hopefully take some pressure off. So thank you very much for watching. My name is Yasin Hayo. I'm a collaboration specialist at Collabtech, and we help people work better together.
Thank you, Yasin. Yasin, just so you know, I've gone back old school and I've written myself a note to go off mute. So I'm hopefully there now. But great, thank you. Really insightful. A couple of points from me. The last example that Yasin gave was actually, it is in Australia, and a courtroom has adopted Hub and Teams to help reduce the backlog of court cases. So that really is a public sector organisation going above and beyond. And then on a personal note, yeah, we are in the biggest experiment, if you like, of remote working, home working. And for me, what has been truly delightful is when CEOs are actually experiencing firsthand what it's like to be a remote attendee, or that C-suite that normally has their own offices and they're normally actually in the meeting space. Knowing what it's like to be a remote participant that is struggling to hear a conversation, and certainly not involved in the in-room collaboration, to now all be remote and all be experiencing this. It certainly has led to a lot of understanding that decision makers now are realising and knowing they have to do something different, both with technology, but also with supporting the remote worker and the remote experience. So thank you once again, and thank you to those people who have been posting questions. Awesome, thank you very much. We've got a couple in. There still might be some time for some more, so if anybody does want to ask anything while we're going through these, please do. Yasin, I'm going to go to you for the first one. So this is your putting you on alert, and Yasin, so here we go. The first question. I have a customer who has 84-inch hub. Hub 1, that will be. How can they update this with the Windows 10 Pro version?
Thank you, Jane. That's a very good question. And the answer is, as of right now, Windows 10 Professional isn't supported on Hub 1. That might be subject to changing, so keep a lookout on the latest Microsoft literature for more information on that. However, from personal experience, I can say that ourselves at CollabTech, we have seen instances of Windows 10 Professional being installed on Hub 1, so it may be possible.
Thank you, Yazin. Thanks for the diplomatic Microsoft answer, which is not yet, but and the other answer, which is but we've actually seen it. So watch this space for more official information there. So Laura, I've got a couple of questions for you, so putting you on alert. Actually, they're both about 85-inch, funnily enough. You could probably answer these together. The first one is 85-inch hub available in Canada yet? And the second one is, where do we get stands from, because we can't get the steel case ones?
Yes, no problem. So yes, the Hub 2S 85-inch is now available in Canada. It's been available for just a couple of weeks, so it came out officially January 25th. So you can absolutely get that. And as for accessories, so we are coming out with some options with Salamander, so in addition to Steelcase. And so in terms of the Salamander ones, we'll be coming out with more details on this shortly, and that will be provided to you through your distributors.
Wonderful. Thank you, Laura. And my unmute sign is obviously working because I'm still on, not on mute, which is great. So a couple of questions that I can answer. Firstly, the previous webinars, I referred to the financial services webinar earlier when I was talking about public sector. Yes, these are available on demand. We'll be sending out a link to you for all the webinars if you missed one. And yes, secondly, from me, if there's anything CollabTech can do, Yazin spoke about how we're channel facing organisation only. We don't sell hardware, we only support channel. If there's anything we can do to help you to promote Hub or support Hub, install or deploy, we have global collaboration specialists just like Yazin, ready and willing to help. So reach out through your distributor. And Laura, I'm going to steal your line. We've got 3 distributors. We've got in alphabetical order: Ingram, Synex and Tech Data. And they'll be absolutely delighted. They are, you know, we work with all of those guys. So all that's left for me to say is thank you so much for joining us. Just to reflect back, there's an ebook on Surface Hub. There's a great infographic. We are going to share all this video content with you, so all the sizzle reels, and we've got 9 to share with you. We've got 5 vertical sectors that we've concentrated on and 4 personas. So if you're talking to a CEO or a super user or an IT pro user, you've got some actual great content to be able to use. We'll be sharing those with you in the coming days. I'll just check, no more questions, no more's coming. Okay, so thank you so much for attending. Hope you enjoyed the webinar sessions. And again, from Laura, myself, and Yazin, if there's anything we can do to help, please shout. Thank you.